Unmuted. Hey guys, it is 11 a.m. We are going to jump in today. I'm excited that you guys are here, and I think right now you're viewing just my screen, is that right? So I have set up my workspace. I've got the hot phone to the president, so we're good. If I have to take that, if the phone flashes and the dome of silence comes down, then you'll know that I've got a call from the president that I've got to take, so that's here. Got my wipes. Make sure we're all set. I hope this is hand sanitizer. Have you guys ever done the hand sanitizer thinking it's hand sanitizer? It's actually soap, and then your hand is all like soapy? I think that's what I just did. So we are excited. I'm excited to have you guys with us today. On behalf of Meador Staffing Services, our president, Melinda Torrison, our owner and founder, Ben Meador, and all of the staff here at Meador Staffing Services, we are in this with you, and we've created a work environment. Try to set up an idea of what it might look like to work remotely, and we're glad that you guys are here. We're going to have a little bit of fun with it. Philip, why don't you go ahead and get me set up on the screen, and we'll see if I can move you guys through some stuff here. I think he's getting us set up. All right, we do have it set up. So let's get started. There's going to be way more information. There's a lot of things I want to tell you. There should be some downloads. So if you came on this Zoom workshop and you came in through the link and the meeting ID, you didn't have the notes. So Philip has put the notes in there for you that you can go through and take notes with. If for some reason you can't get them, put your name and email in there. And after the workshop, we're going to get you guys the notes so you have the notes to go through everything if you want to and to share those. We'll also be recording this. We'll edit it down a little bit and we'll make it available to you guys if you want it as well. So we appreciate you guys being here. As we get started, we want you guys to know this. We hear you, we see you, we are with you. We've been in business for over 50 years. And we thought we saw it all until the COVID-19, and none of us have seen that before. But we have been through a lot, from downturns in the economy, through recessions and disasters. We had the roof lifted up in Harvey. I think it was Harvey that lifted up the roof of our corporate office, displaced us. We had to remote work at that point. We had a computer crash about 2 years ago. I know if any of the staff are listening, they're trembling at the sound of a computer crash. We've been through a lot of things, and here's what I know. We're going to get through it. We're going to get through this. We're going to get through it together because we're stronger together than we are apart. In all of the uncertainty and things that are out of control, there are certain things we can control, and that's where we want to focus, right? And that's really about, we can control how we go through, how we communicate, how we act, how we lead, how we partner with people, how we support one another. Our attitude is things that we can control. It doesn't mean we'll be perfect all the time, but we have the ability to control it. So our desire is to continue to serve you during this time in whatever capacity possible. I know some of you are laying off, some of your doors are closing, some of you guys are furloughing, you're having to let people go. There's a lot of scenarios right now. Meador Staffing is open. We are a vital entity, and so we are continuing to work. All of our team is going to be calling you guys and checking in with you, and if you have needs, we want to be able to try to provide them. We're the people who know the people you need to know. And so if you need to know something, let us know, and we will do all that we can to communicate to you guys what's going on. So here we go. Let's jump in. We're stronger together. So what does remote working look like? Okay, here you go. So check this one out. This is what my family thinks I do. These are the remote working, right? What commuters think that I do, what I think I do, and I love it, what I actually do. So let's take another look. How about this? Those of you guys that are working at home for the first time, and if you have a cat or a pet or an animal, they just always, literally my cat gets up on our table. I've been remote working for probably 15 years. My problem is I am an extrovert, and so when I remote work, I have to go where there's lots of people. Right now we can't do that, so I'm on my kitchen table, and my cat likes to join me in a lot of my remote working. It can be a very, I don't even like cats to begin with. How about this one? Look familiar to anybody? Right? Our kids are right there with us. Sometimes we can't keep them out. Let's try another one. So when you're working from remote and your boss says it's time for a Skype meeting or a Zoom meeting, this is how we look, right? Then this one, you may be working at home and maybe your parents or in-laws are working at home. You've got family members working at home. There's more people there. What do you do to keep people out? You barricade the door, all right? So the reality is, as we go through this, what does it really look like? And how do we get to this situation, right, where there's hope, right? Because I believe that there's hope. I believe there's a work environment that we can do, but everyone's is going to be different. So I've already said this, and I'm going to go quickly through this. If you don't have the notes, they're in the chat. If you need them and you don't see them, let Philip know. Chat with Philip. I'm asking you guys to participate. The best way to do that is we are smarter together. If you have resources or ideas or other suggestions that you hear me talk about, put them in the chat so we can all share them together and we can all use them together. We definitely are smarter collectively than we are by ourselves. So we want you to go ahead and drop resources and ideas and links in the chat for everyone to grab a hold of. So let's jump in. I love this quote by Mr. Rogers, right? He says this. Mr. Rogers says, I don't know if you guys have just aside, we only have 30 minutes. But an aside, I don't know if you watched the movie. What a great movie that was. I watched Mr. Rogers growing up for a little while, and I remember it, and the movie was really fascinating. What an amazing man. But he had this quote. He says, when I was a boy, I would see scary things in the news. And my mother would say, look for the helpers. You will always find those who are willing and ready to help. Man, what a great statement. Look for the helpers. You guys are the helpers. We're the helpers. Yes, we have jobs and missions and visions of our companies, but right now it's about helping, and it's looking to those who are looking to lock arms to help. Now, I know we got to lock arms from a distance, right? We've got physical distancing, social distancing, but there's still ways we can help. This is one of those ways. So in our desire to continue to serve you guys and bring you value, we wanted to share some best practices for a remote workplace. Meador has been able to work remote and worked remote over the years. This is not new for Meador staffing, but it may be new for some of you guys. So as we start, it's critical to remember this. There's no one right way. Everybody's different. Everyone's home is different, environment's different, family is different, workplaces are different. There's not one right way. So we're going to share principles with you, but I want you to take those principles and adapt them to your situation. And there's probably a lot more than what I'm going to be able to share with you. So as we do this, take what fits for you, adapt what you need to, and chunk the rest, right? Because for each of us, it's going to be different. So let's jump in. We're going to mute. You guys are all muted right now, but you can chat, and I want you to. Philip's going to let me know if you've got questions. We won't have a lot of time in the 30 minutes, but let me tell you this. At the end of the 30 minutes, we are going to close the meeting, and then we are going to stay online. Our president is going to come and sit with me. We don't need a social distance, actually. The president's my wife. So she's going to come sit by me, and we're going to answer any questions for any of you that you have. We'll open up the mic, and we'll spend as long as you need to talk through some of the current situations. My wife is a wealth of information. She's been leading in so many areas in our city, involved in so many conversations, and so she's the president of Meador Staffing. She's going to come and be available to answer questions at the end of this Zoom broadcast. So let's get going. The remote work world, it is not new. And you guys should have, if you have your notes, you should be able to follow along with the notes. I've got them in front of me. If you don't, you can download them and we'll send them to you again. What I want you to do is use these notes as an outline for you to take notes of things that are helpful for you. So the remote workplace, this is not a new thing. And the remote workplace can be a blessing, not a curse. It may seem very challenging right now, but studies have proven over the years, over the last 10 years of the remote workforce. In fact, my wife was a remote worker with T1 lines when my son was being born. He's 25 years old now. We were up in Kentucky, and so Mr. Meador allowed her to work remotely from Kentucky. She would come back once a month, but she was on those thick T1 lines with a dial-up. We were remote working 25 years ago. But in the last 5 to 10 years, it has become fairly commonplace, and it's growing every day. So remote working is a blessing, not a curse. Cisco's Internet Business Services Group said this: studies report that remote workers tend to be more productive due to the flexible work hours, their flexible schedule, the reduced distractions. We'll talk about that. How do you reduce those distractions? And focused and clear objectives. When they can set their own schedule and focus during that time, they're able to actually accomplish more than when they're in a collective environment. And we're going to talk about that and how we do that. So let's look at the quotes in the margin. That's going to give you some more encouragement that this is really possible. You can do this and not just survive, but you can thrive and you can grow. I'm not going to go through all those quotes, but I gave those for you to kind of set a foundation saying you can do this. This can be a blessing, not a curse. Okay? So let's talk about the first thing in transformational leadership, right? Because to talk about this, we need to talk about what leadership looks like with a remote team in a remote environment. We know what it looks like in an office when we're all next door to each other in cubicles together. But what does it look like to lead a remote team? And what does leadership look like? Here's the thing. Leadership is everyone's responsibility. Guys, it is. This is what we say, and we do a whole training on the characteristics of a transformational leader. Leadership, in being a leader, is everyone. It's not a title, it's not an office, it's not a bank account, it's not a position. We are all leaders because we're all influencers. So we need to understand that everyone is a leader. And so in the remote workplace, you all have to own your leadership and become more intentional about influencing and engaging with your teams, especially in the remote workplace where self-leadership and motivation is critical to our success. Now, transformational leaders who are not only passionate about exceeding expectations, but transformational leaders in this environment, you need to be passionate about growing and leading your teams and your people. So the key to leading remote teams in a crisis is to remain calm. You can see up on the screen, CALM is an acronym, and we're going to talk about that. When we engage this CALM, these 4 steps, it's cyclical. It's always happening. It's always going on. They're not linear because each one is happening all the time. And the first one, which is most important we're going to talk about, is communication. You might have heard me say this in the past, but George Bernard Shaw had a quote that said, the single biggest problem in communicating is the illusion that it's taken place. Communication is more than telling people what to do. Communication involves listening. It involves asking questions, checking for understanding. When communicating with remote teams, we must always be communicating with vision, calling them forward, especially if they've never done it before. It could be hard. We could get frustrated. We're watching the news. We've got all this stimulus coming in that can be overwhelming and slow us down. As leaders, we need to lead with vision, calling them to an end, calling them to a process, calling them to a future and a hope. So focus on asking questions. What do you feel is your greatest challenge in working at home? What can I do for you? What are you missing? What do you need? How can I help? I love that the new series, New Amsterdam, and the chief resident there, the guy that runs the hospital, his question everyone is, how can I help? That's probably one of the best questions that you can ask in this time. So the second one is advocate. What do I mean by advocate? We're just going to do this really quickly, but advocate is what it says. How do you support your team? How do you advocate for them? How do you bless them and honor them? It's easy in a remote world to get lost and isolated and feel disengaged or not a part. It's your job as leaders to advocate for your teammates, to those that are working remotely, to check in on them, to celebrate the wins as you go, to cast vision and keep them connected and moving forward. You advocate by supporting and recognizing the work of each team member. Third one is lead. We're going to talk about leading and managing. I've given you in the chat, there is a free quiz that we gave you. It's a leadership quiz. Are you a boss, manager, and leader? I don't have time to go into that. We do a training around that. We all need to be bosses at times, and some of you have had to be a boss in this time. We all have to be great leaders, but our goal is to be great managers, but our goal is to be transformational leaders. That's really what we're after. And so we've given you a free quiz, download it, you can have some fun with it. If you want to talk about it, we can do that later as well. So you need to lead. It's about more than simply getting the job done. It's about calling people forward, creating space for innovation and creativity, asking them their opinions and their thoughts, giving them responsibility and authority. That's really what we're talking about. And then the last one is managing, right? We've all got to be great managers. And in this time, managing is critical. It is one of those things that we have got to do. It's the checking the boxes, making sure we're taking care of everything that we need to do, the processes, the systems, the reporting, right? How do we set it up and how are we keeping track and accountability with each other? That's managing. And it comes back to communicating. And really communicating encompasses everything. It's always happening. We're always doing it. The question is, are we effective? All right, let's keep going. This one I won't spend time on, but you've got it in your margin, and I want you to see it. It's kind of a gift. We've been having people ask us about how do you set up meetings? What do meetings look like? How do we hold accountability if we've never done this before? I've given you in this some different meeting with purpose ideas. You may already have this figured out. You may be doing a great job with it. I'm not going to go through the steps, but you've got it in the notes. but it just quickly, I'm going to go through the 4 things. First part is Mondays, right? You have a check-in on Mondays. You get people engaged, you cast vision, you set priorities for the week, and you do this through a teleconference, through Zoom, a video conference. You want to do daily check-ins. They don't have to be long, but you want to check in with each team member. They're a one-on-one that you're going to make any adjustments that are needed, seeing if they're doing okay, how are they progressing in the things that they are working on, their priorities. Then a midweek team motivation on a Wednesday, get them all back together again. Make sure that you're asking them how we doing in our progress. What do we need to finish strong? Where are we at? And you check in with them. And then on Fridays, you want to do 2 things. You want to report and prepare. Fridays are critical to say, how do we do? Where are we at? And what do we need to have ready for Monday? You know why that's important? Because you guys need your weekends. You need to take a break. You don't need to work all weekend thinking about what am I going to do on Monday. If you take a little bit of time on Friday as a team and individually to prepare for your Monday, you can enjoy your weekend and decompress a little bit. That's all I'm going to say about that. You've got that information. So let's talk about this. This is really where we're going to spend the rest of our time. Best practices, there's a lot of them. As I share, I want you guys to share in the notes as well. Share in the chat. Give us some links, some other things that you've thought about, things that we can use. Help encourage all of us by sharing some things that you are using to help you in this remote time. So here's the thing. There's a lot of best practices. These aren't the only ones. These are some of them, but we're going to talk about the 4 Ps. As a leader, you need to remember you can't treat everyone the same. Some people aren't wired to work from home. They just aren't. It's hard for them, but they're needing to right now. So how do you deal with them differently than those who love it? They love the isolation. The introverts, I think they feel like they've gone to heaven, right? Because this is an introvert's heaven right now. But you need to treat them differently, follow up with them differently, communicate with them differently. Their personality and communication style is critical to understand. Now, I'm going to put a shameless plug in the notes. There is a sheet at the back that talks about one of the programs we offer in the communication workshops. We do DISC training. We're certified to do presentations and training and teaching on DISC. DISC is all about identifying your communication style. I suggest every company does it with all their employees. If you're interested in getting a DISC profile and some training on your teams to understand the best way to communicate and the best way they function, let us know. The information's in the back of your notes, okay? So please share any of your stuff as we go through. Let's jump into it. Protocol. I want to talk to you guys about protocol. We're going to go through protocol, procedure, people, and priorities. The first 2 we'll spend a little bit more time on. Protocol is all about the rules that you're going to follow to accomplish the procedures that lead to fulfilling the objective that you need to do. Examples would be the protocols involve your systems, your procedures, your reporting, the documentation, the ways you're going to communicate, and the expectation that you have of how you need to function productively. It's very practical. Protocols are a practical process, and there's 4 areas I want to talk about that. First, what are you going to set in terms of the protocol of your workspace? What are you helping them set, and what are they setting? And there's so many things we can talk about. You can see my workspace here if you came in, right? So I kind of set up a mock workspace, if you will, of how we want to get our space to look. But it's important that you remove all the distractions. When I say that, I'm talking pictures and images and things that might draw your attention, those things in that room that might lead you away from focusing on what you need to do. Isolate with the door shut if possible. We're going to talk about some ways to communicate to your family, especially when you're video conferencing, that you're actually on a video right now, right? And then your background. What's the backdrop on those video conferencing? What are they seeing? And are people walking around or doing things? Or you catch grandma? I'm going to leave it at that. But in other words, you need to know your environment and your surrounding. Lighting, we'll talk about that. So designate a workspace. Just like you get up to go to work in your office, you've got a workspace, have a space. It could be a kitchen table, it could be a closet, I don't care, but designate a place that you're going to go to for work. Second one, time block your day. Set your day up in time blocks. Know when you're going to start your day and when you're going to end your day. We'll talk about this, scheduling your breaks and different things. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on that in just a second, but make sure you time block your day. Know what your schedule looks like. Let your family know. Write it down. Share it with everyone who needs. Your team needs to know what your time blocking looks like. And then you might want to share time blocking, and maybe you guys have a shared time with your team that everyone knows during this half hour we are all checking emails and going through call returns and text messages, and we do it together at that time. So if people need to get a hold of you, they know that that is a downtime that we can communicate together if we need to. So time block your day, write it down, share it with your team, share it with the people in your home. If you have several people working together, have some overlapping time blocks that you guys can actually work together with. Third one, and I love this one. If you don't get anything else, get this. In your home, set up the game red light, green light. How many of you have ever played red light, green light, right? A lot of us have. Red light means stop. Green light means go. So what does it look like to play red light, green light with your kids? You need to build a routine with them. If you got a red light and a green light, put it outside the door of your workspace. A red piece of paper, a green piece of paper. Somehow designate at the entrance to where you're working, red light, green light. What you're saying is when the red light is on, mommy or daddy or brother or grandma or dad is working. It is your focus time. You're asking everyone to understand when the red light is on, I am locked in during this period of time. And it's usually a length of time, a 30-minute, 60-minute, or 90-minute red light length of time. Put the red light out. When you're done, you switch and put the green light out. That green light says it's go time, it's rest time, it's family time, it's game time with your kids, it's a tickle fight, it's a walk outside, it's a get a drink, it's a stretch and get some fresh air. You set a time limit for that as well. What you're doing is creating a routine and expectation, especially for your children, if they're old enough, and your family that might be there. Red light, I'm working, but there will be a green light. And when the green light comes, I'm all yours. And then decompress, step out of the room. Take that time to spend it however you need to. That's your green light time. Red light is work, head down, focused on a project. Green light is take a breath, say hi to your kids, play with them for a little bit, and then go back to red light. And you do that as many times as you need to during the day. I hope that's helpful because routines right now are really hard. You think your kids don't want a routine and they're all over the place, they will rise to the level of the expectations that we set. Also your family members, your older children, your spouses. If you set the expectation and make it clear and stick to it, people will learn and adjust to meet that expectation. All right, next one, fourth one, communication tools to stay connected with your team. There's so many things we could talk about here. I've set some of them up here, the camera that we're using, the video Zoom that we're using. There's a lot of different ways to do that for interactive meetings. I have added in your notes additional resources for how you might set up for your virtual meetings. If you have any ideas or things you're using, microphones, cameras, lighting, put them in the chat right now and let people grab them to look at them because it's really important, especially the lighting and how you're setting up and using the tools to help you meet. There's other tools for your one-on-ones. Meador Staffing started doing Marco Polo. It's a way that their teams are able to video chat with each other, share something, and then they can watch it whenever they want to and respond back. I'm going to caution you with that kind of stuff, though. Be careful on the video chatting and some of these tools because they become social mechanisms that make it more social than work. I love this Marco Polo idea, but when I post something on Marco Polo to my team, I don't need all 5 of them returning, great message, thanks for posting, because what happens? It's like those text streams that we get, right, that you're in, and when someone replies, they reply all, and now you're getting dinged every 3 seconds by someone's response to that initial text. You don't want to do that. That's a distraction. You're not helping each other. So set protocols with whatever media that you're using that it's going to be used for work. If you want a social mechanism, set social times. Declare this as a social engagement time where people can tell a story or joke around or put a funny meme on there. But don't cross lines with work, red light, and play or relationship, green light. It defeats the purpose, right? So that's our communication tools. FaceTime, you can do group conferencing on that now. Marco Polo, Google has a way to do FaceTiming and videos. There's so many platforms. Put them in there, find the ones that work best. All right, let's go to procedures. This will take a little longer and we'll finish up with the last 2. So procedures is really important. There's 4 areas in the procedures. You need to set a schedule, we already said this, and create a routine. Routine's important. Working at home, you actually end up having more time to do what you need to. You can get more done in a short period of time if you set up a routine, which will give you more time to take a break, to breathe, to engage with your family or whatever you need to do. Here's what I know. Look at blocking 3-hour blocks. You can put red light and green light in that 3-hour block several times, but but block your world into a 3-hour window of productivity. Put what you're going to do, and don't work on just focusing on the to-do list and checklist, because when we have that, we go to the easiest ones and get them done and never get to the most important ones. When you go head down in red light, you need to have a project, one thing you're working on. Maybe it's calls you've got to make, it's client surveys you've got to do, it's follow-ups. I don't know what it is, but when it's red light, pick that one thing. How long do you need? Head down, get that one thing done, and then go to the next thing. So set a time and a start time and end time each day. I'm going to tell you this, procedures, dress for success. Don't work in your nighttime clothes. Don't work in your PJs. I know you're going, oh, darn, I'd love to. How you dress, your attitude, your approach is going to determine your focus and how you work. I know you think I'm crazy and think I can work at home and, you know, you're only going to see me from here up, so from here down doesn't matter. It does matter. Your attitude and how you dress and showering and fixing yourself as if you're going to work is going to make you more productive. Schedule your breaks, short and long breaks, the red light, green light, get fresh air. Here's another thing I'm going to tell you that's really helpful. How many of you have the watches that ding when your phone goes off, you get emails? Take that stinking thing off your wrist and set it aside. In this time, set times for texting, returning calls, and emails. Set a 30-minute block. Do it several times throughout the day. Turn off all of your notifications, the things that pop every time you get an email. If it's an emergency, you set emergency protocols with your team and your family, how they can get a hold of you in case of an emergency. Emergencies are things that have to be dealt with in that moment, not things that are worrisome or we need to talk about. Those can be done at a different time. So all of you should set on your calendar times that you're going to return calls, return texts, make phone calls, and return emails. And give yourself a 30-minute window and let people know. So you let your family know, let your team know, let your customers and clients know. If you reach out to me, they can get an immediate email that comes back and says, I will be returning all calls between 12 and 1 and 4:30 and 5. Set it up, control your time. You can't manage it, but you can control it. And then build routines for the people you work with. Your routines aren't just for you, they're for your teams as well. Okay, so much more we could talk about. I'm going to move through some of this. Mornings are the best time. Since I'm not a morning person, well, scientifically it's proven that we are better in the morning. I'm going to give you just one example to fight you guys who are saying, I'm not a morning person. Imagine your phone being charged all night. It's plugged in. When you get up in the morning, you unplug your phone and you look, and it's fully charged, ready to go. That's sleep. That's rest. When we take care of our sleep patterns, we take care of when we're going to bed, we get good sleep, we're supposed to be waking up fully charged and ready to go. Enough said. I've stepped on some of your toes already. We're going to keep going. Create repeatable processes and systems. That's part of the procedures. And then secure communications. Here's another thing. When you work remote and you're connecting to servers and things, I don't have a lot of answers. Melinda might be able to answer some of these for you later. We can find out, because I know they're having to do things here. There is a world of hackers out there that are loving the fact that companies are going remote, because the firewalls change and their ability to hack into your system through a remote connection is much greater. So you need to ask questions about that, your IT people. Make sure your security is going to match your remote working. Last couple, let's do this. We're down to our last few minutes. Hang with me, take a breath. Next one is people. I'm going to go this really quickly. You need to know your people. So you need to know your family, their routines, the support, the boundaries. Set it up. Communicate with your family what you're trying to accomplish. You cannot communicate enough. When you think you've communicated, communicate again. Then ask if they understand and have them repeat back so you're on the same page. It's important. Know your family, the routines, the support you have, and your boundaries. Know your team. Who's in what seat, what roles, what relationships. What's the rules of engagement with your team? Those people that are extroverts are going to find themselves working remotely and wanting to send notes to all their teammates every 30 minutes to check in. Hey, how you doing? Did you see this? How are we doing on that? It's a distraction. They need that fellowship. I'm an extrovert, but I need to be disciplined. So know your team, set your engagement expectations and your schedules. Share your schedule with everyone on your team. Right? Know your clients and your candidates. Who needs a touch? What do they need? How do I communicate with them? How often should I let them know, hey, we're here, we're for you. If you need anything, let us know. But know your candidates and clients, and then know your prospects. They may not be buying now, they may not be engaging now, but this isn't going to last forever. They will. Make a list of those prospects that you've been working and keep working them, but now don't call to try to sell necessarily. Call to ask them how they're doing and what you can give them. Things like these webinars, giving them product that's going to help them, that you can give away, that's going to endear them to you and make them more loyal to you, that when this thing changes and they need people, products, services, the first ones they're going to think about are the ones who cared about them and engaged in them through the process. All right, last one, we're getting there. I might go over a few minutes, stay with me. Priorities. First thing I want to tell you is the power of 3. The power of 3 is time blocking the most important and productive time of the day. 3 hours, I already talked about that. But we need to set our priorities. Let me tell you, you guys cannot manage time. We think, let's do time management. No such thing. We all have the same amount of time. You can't manage time. You can work your time, block your time, prioritize your time, but you can't manage it, right? So what does it look like to prioritize your time? You prioritize the priorities. You prioritize those things that are most important. Put them in the time slots. Set them when you're most alert and most focused, and have that be a red light time, right? So the power of 3, time block the most important and productive time of the day. Relationships. It's really important that we focus on I'll come back to projects. Relationships. This is what we miss a lot of times in chaos. Some of us, the way we're wired, we put our head down and forget about following up and building relationship. People are going to have a lot of emotions right now, a lot of fears, a lot of anxieties in the outside world that are hitting them. They bring it to work. They bring it to their environment. I'll just say this, give grace. If you know their heart, trust their heart, even if their actions aren't aligning right now, because we're all under a lot of pressure and a lot of stress. So understand that, trust their heart, give grace for the behaviors, and communicate. Talk to one another. Keep pressing into relationship, because that's what's going to last when this is over. Then we talk about projects. You need to prioritize the projects. What's the most important as a team and as individuals that you need to accomplish and work on? Don't try to work on 10 at one time. Take one. Oh, I didn't change. Where are we at? People, priorities. Sorry, thank you, Philip. He's waving at me. I didn't change the slides. Forgive me, you guys. Projects, prioritize your projects. And the last one is on there's communication. Make a priority to communicate. We talked about the schedule on that where we first started. Set a regular routine of communicating. Sorry, I should have silenced my phone. In summary, stay calm, right? Communicate, advocate, lead, and manage. Set your protocols, establish your procedures, know your people and how you will engage them, manage relationships and your priorities. Okay, I'm taking a breath. Take a breath. We're just finishing up. Here's what I want you guys to know. It's going to be okay. We're going to get through it. Don't know what that looks like and means for everybody, but we're here doing it together. Part of Meador Staffing's passion is to stay with you, to hang in, to talk, to work through, because this too shall pass. And when it does, those that have understood how to manage the time, have grown through it, have learned through it, will come out stronger for it. There will be a bounce back. The question is, will there be air in your ball that when you bounce it, it comes back, right? Because it's coming. I don't know when, but it's coming. This is all about preparation and getting ready for that bounce back so that we can not just survive, but thrive through the crisis. Hey, if you only take one thing from our time today, it's that communication is your job in a remote world. You can't communicate enough. It is your number one job. You need to do it and then do it and then do it some more. And it's not just telling people, it's asking and it's listening. So what's next? We're going to stay with you. So next week on April 1st, Wednesday, we're going to do another 30-minute, 11 to 11:30 workshop. This one's on employee and customer engagement in a remote world. It's going to be fun. It's lighthearted. How do we engage? How do we have fun? What are things that we can do together in a remote situation to keep building community, keep building family, keep building and strengthening our relationships and our culture? There is a culture in the remote world. You had one when you worked in the office. That culture needs to try to carry through in your remote environment. So we're going to do that. You guys will get the registrations for that. I hope you join us for that. It'll be next Wednesday, and we're looking forward to doing that as well. Last thing I want to point out to you guys, I'm going to invite Melinda, our president, to come if she's not already here. She needs to come and meet with me here. We are offering a client seminar on April 8th. It's a little bit different. It's going to be remote as well. It's on marijuana, CBD, and employee drug testing. We still think this is a important topic. We want to continue to offer services and resources. We've got a great lawyer. She's a great presenter. There's some CEU and SHRM credits available. Right now it's April 8th from 8 to 10 a.m. through Zoom. You've already been registering for that. The date is subject to change. If things change, we'll make adjustments, but we want to let you know about that. So, how can we help? Hopefully our president is coming, but we want to, oh, she's here.
Take this seat.
We're going to open things up. Philip, if you want to open things up. And make sure that they can come scoot in a little bit closer. We don't have to social distance. I already told them our relationship. We're good. So those of you guys that are still here, we're going to unmute everyone. Are we unmuted? You are unmuted, but the best way to do this, if a lot of you have questions, is to
and there's one that's a lot stronger on the welding.
You have a question.
So, and he can use you in
and raise your hand, and we'll see you, and then speak and ask that question. I'm going to ask everyone else to keep yourself muted.
Not everybody is comfortable.
Okay, and then ask us a question. And Philip may mute you. You can unmute yourself. But who has a question for our president? It could be about anything that we're going through right now. Philip, do we have anybody asking? I have a question yet?
Yeah.
Melinda, you want to share anything with those that are with us while they're putting their questions together?
Yeah.
Type your question in. Philip will let us know, and we will call you.
I just wanted to reach out. I saw a lot of you who are have been online participating, and just some really key organizations, and really on behalf of not only Meador Staffing Services, but our community and just the region. We are so thankful. I saw many of you from, just a shout out to San Jacinto College. I know Sue, you've been online with Texas Chiropractic College, I believe Thermon, Natasha with Port of Houston. What you guys are doing on the front lines is really just inspiring and very motivational to us. And so we really appreciate how you have just navigated through these uncharted waters and taking an entire college to an online platform, and the food pantries that you guys have set up. And it's just really inspiring. So I really just wanted to give a shout out on behalf of Meador Staffing and our team and say thank you so much for what you're doing, and that's really what keeps us going in the lane that we operate in, to continue providing our clients with key essential employees. Believe it or not, we are still filling jobs every day. We've gone to, of course, a platform where our customers are interviewing using Skype and other amazing technology tools, but we're here for you. And as Rick had alluded to earlier, we are going to get through this, and we are going to see a bright side to come. And so we are just honored to be able to operate in the lane that we do. So we do have information on our website, so please refer to the COVID-19 resources page on the website, as I know so many of your organizations as well have amazing resources. We put in place a task force 3 weeks ago, and so we have been meeting on a daily basis, and really believe that our team has done exceptionally well. And so I know our account managers, our recruiters, our staffing consultants, branch managers, our team is here to not only provide the staff that you need, and really just to be there for you and to hear what your story is, but to be a resource for you as well. So please follow our social media platforms on Facebook and LinkedIn. We're updating those constantly, and refer to our website each and every day. We're, like I said, we're adding links and information with the stimulus package that was rolled out, the FFCRA, all of the new legislation that we're trying to navigate through. So please use us as a resource and a partner, but really a shout out to each of you and the lane that you're running in and what you're doing. It is very inspiring, and we appreciate you, and just it's a privilege to be able to work with you and call each of you friend.
Anyone have any questions? Philip's there. Let him know, and we will call your name out and then unmute so you can speak. But does anyone have any questions for Melinda about anything? Melinda is also the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce for Pasadena. She's been involved on a lot of phone calls and conference calls, and has got a lot of inside information from our city and different things going on in this region. Are there any questions or things you're wondering about that as this thing unfolds that you might have some questions about, or is there anything that we can serve you better in? How can we serve you guys? Any questions? Philip, do we have anything? So we don't want to take more time than we have to.
And we understand it is now Friday, March the 27th. It's 11:40. I think we're all about maxed out with information overload. We are all ready for the weekend. And I would just say, please, again, use Meador Staffing as a resource. We're here for you. And really just want to know how you're doing and how we can help. And so we do encourage each one of you to take a break this weekend, to love on your family, and just get some rest before we enter into another week. So thank you again. We appreciate each one of you.
Thanks, guys. So again, next week on Wednesday, April 1st, we'll do another 30-minute quick workshop on employee engagement in a remote world. We'll have some fun with that. We'll talk about how to keep your culture moving and how to continue to strengthen one another. So I hope that you'll join us, share it with your friends. You'll see it come out through social media and through our email links. We'll also try to send you an evaluation to let us know how we can keep serving you. The last thing is if you did not sign up through the registration that we had and you just came in through the link and you need the notes so you didn't get them, they were in the chat. And we want to send those to you, but we need your name and your email, and after we get done here, we'll collect all of that, and we will send you the notes from today if you weren't able to get them. Please let us know, and we'll get those to you. So until next time, from Meador Staffing, what? We do have?
So we'll be sharing this video online.
So we will make the video available. If you want a copy of the video, we're going to edit it and get it to you. Let us know. Let us know you want it. We'll get it to you directly, because the only mechanism we have to get it to you right now is if you registered and we have your contact information. So if you want the video, give us your name and email. I'm not sure about posting it openly online. We need to see how to do that, but send us a note, let us know. We'll make sure you get it. Give us a couple days to get it edited and put in a format to get sent to you. But if you let us know, we'll make sure we get you a copy of the video.
Absolutely.
Yeah, anything else? Hey guys, from Meador Staffing Services, our president, our CEO, owner, and founder, Ben Meador, from all of our staff, our account managers, from our accounting team, our admin and support team. Guys, we're all here, from direct hire to our contract, to our temp. We're all here for you. We're working through this together. Whatever you need, don't hesitate to let us know. We'll make it through together, and we're going to be stronger together on the other side. So God bless you guys. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you again soon.
Bye, everybody.